Otherworldlyculture.com presents, now streaming.
Now streaming, Suzy says hooray! Suzy all the way. Now streaming every single day. Suzy, come and play.
Hello, good evening. Sorry for the delay, and thank you for joining Dead on Thursdays. Pew, 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 pew. Anyway, I digress. Otherworldly Cultures has been on its annual Horror Realm break, and tonight we attempt to recap the highlights of the convention. Hopefully we don't crash again. If you want to grace us with your presence, please join our live chat by clicking on the live show's link at otherworldlycultures.com website. At least that's what I think you do to join. If I'm wrong, the voice and the great and the powerful will say something now.
That's pretty good, Suzy.
Yay!
And that was a good, great, and powerful voice, too.
I know. I don't know what to do here. Otherworldly Cultures Dead on Thursdays currently consists of 4 rotating shows. Alternating weeks, you will see Dead on Bases, the horror sports mashup, Horror Realm Radio, the official podcast of Pittsburgh's Horror Realm Convention, Dead on Movie Reviews, which has a lively discussion and lively debate of different horror movies. And then, how can you forget now streaming, the glitter-filled train wreck presided over by yours truly, Suzy Snowflake, aka the Ice Princess, where here we have a panel discussion of whatever movie I feel like babbling about, as long as it can be found on a free ad-supported streaming television service, and as long as the great and the powerful wizard of producing doesn't say no. Tiaras and cosplay are not required, but they are totally encouraged. And as usual, the sparklier, the better. Because most men have a fear of commitment, it's not just the show that rotates, but my court of critics does as well. Tonight's loyalist subjects include the knight in shining hockey masks, Tim Godak, fellow convention enthusiast, owner of Darkside Collectibles, a new sci-fi and horror specialty shop located in Plumboro. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello.
We also have tonight the Scribe of Scares, Michael Cieslak, joining from Motor City, Detroit. He is the editor-in-chief of Dragon Roost Press, lifetime reader and writer of mystery, horror, speculative fiction, and the editor of Eerie Tales Anthology. Yay!
Woo!
Hello, everyone. Thanks for hanging out.
And thanks for waiting on us. It's about time. I am going to get very distracted tonight with my Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu-y stuff.
Which will make sense later.
Yeah, because you haven't announced the name of the movie yet, but keep going.
Well, and last but not least, we cannot forget the great and the powerful Tim Kretschmann. So great and so powerful that I must now say the following. Tim is the brightest light in the sea of stars in the solar system.
Correct.
Something about stumbling from the murky, moss-filled cemeteries of Muskego, Wisconsin. He is the most dapper, the finest fella, the most marvelous mentor a little princess could ever have. There is no need to find a fairy godmother and wish upon a star when you have a producer such as him. As the webmaster for Otherworldly Cultures, he has the extreme responsibility of maintaining the world's greatest something. I don't know. I zoned out. However, he is the host of Dead on Bases, where he consistently tries to steal the spotlight from my cohort in crime, Mr. Jazzy Jeff Miller.
That's right. Well, thank you, Suzy. Why don't you tell everybody our movie for tonight?
On to tonight's movie, New York Ninja. It's sort of from 1984. It's sort of from 2021. Yeah. I'm really not sure. You can find it on Pluto, Tubi, and Fawesome. It is 1 hour and 33 minutes long. Originally shot in 1984 by John Liu, it was never finished until 2021 when Vinegar Syndrome found the original unedited negatives in the archives. No sound elements and no script to go by. Lost forever. The producer and editor, Curtis something, I'm not quite sure. One of you can probably tell me that afterwards. Anyway, he used an entirely new cast to dub over the voices and bring to light what we watched this week. To quote our Scribe of Scares, he did say, in all seriousness, you could get a copy of this signed by all the people who did the voiceovers, and it would be amazing. Which is why I thought it would be the perfect movie for us to use tonight when we do our review of our Horror Realm recap.
Absolutely.
The story itself is about a TV news station sound technician whose pregnant wife is killed. He turns into a vigilante ninja. I don't really think that's the sound these make, but I don't care.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
It doesn't matter because the movie had no sound, so I'm doing my own voiceover.
Well done. Well done.
And the
nice
movie
justification.
didn't make
I
complete
approve.
sense, and neither does this intro, so it's
Yeah.
perfect.
He is a vigilante ninja in New York City. He has an ankle biter for a sidekick, and while kung fuing crime, he discovers a plutonium killer, and a hot mess, great fun of a movie ensues.
Here's
I
the
have
thing.
no idea
Her introduction is actually accurate, and everything she said is absolutely what happens in this movie. It's crazy.
Wait, why do we have to say actually accurate?
Because it doesn't sound like something that should exist.
But it's on point because I'm on.
It is absolutely on point.
It's there. It exists. We don't know why, but it exists.
I also don't know, speaking of not knowing why on things, I also don't know how to explain the stars who are in it, who gets credit. I don't know how to do this, so it's all you guys, fellas.
IMDb doesn't even know how to credit these people, so don't feel bad.
At the end of the film, they actually have a card that says, hey, we lost all records of this thing, so we're only going to tell you about the people that did the sound, because that we do know about. But they don't know.
Because we paid them.
Right. Outside of John Liu, they don't know. And John Liu, I think they mostly know of because he had been in a couple other kung fu chopsaki type of movies of the time. But the cast is actually surprisingly good. I wonder if the producers that made this sound version have lots of photos in a file cabinet someplace that they were able to call in all these favors. But it's much better than you can expect. And I think what's a plus that a lot of people probably kind of gloss over is all the people that did the voiceover were active in these types of films at the time it was shot. You know, they're obviously much older now, but they were all involved. So you had Don the Dragon Wilson doing the voice of John Liu, the New York Ninja. You have Michael Berryman, who's a good, close personal friend of all of us after last 2 weekends ago at Horror Realm. You have Linnea Quigley is in there doing the voice. Cynthia Rothrock is in there. Ginger Lynn, who was at Horror Realm, was it 2 years ago or 3, came out. So we have a lot of people that were in this realm of filmmaking at the time this was shot. Yet all of them claimed they were not involved in the original filming, which, I don't know, Michael Berryman seems to make movies about 100 at a time. So it would not have surprised me had he stepped out of the background at some part in the movie.
And looking at those names, though, that totally puts shame to your idea that they had some kind of photographic thing against them, because how are you going to shame Ginger Lynn Allen or
True.
Linnea Quigley?
Okay.
And let's not forget, Vince Murdocco, who played the cameraman, whose first movie was Flesh Gordon Meets the Cosmic Cheerleaders, which came out in 1990. A lot of these people have that did the voices. This is what I thought was funny looking into it, was all these people that did the voice acting, so many of them have actual martial arts backgrounds, which don't come into play at all when you're just doing voiceover work.
You can hear it in the voices. You can hear it in the voices. Okay, so
Timmy, you gotta-
I have a question for the group. Okay, and Susie laid out the plot, I thought, very well, that
Yes.
his pregnant wife gets killed, but
Which is hilarious.
with a rubber knife, the most
Yes.
rubber-looking knife of all time, and a ketchup packet. But then his reaction is to break a card table. But
Kill that table.
oh, he destroys that table. That was made of the finest balsa wood.
Why?
Right? Why?
Why?
But then, does he actually get his revenge?
I have an answer for you
Okay.
about why he may have not cared that much about why. Because the first bit of dialogue and the first note that I took, other than, wow, this really looks like 1984,
Yeah.
until I realized that it actually was 1984, because holy shit, there's the Twin Towers, is when Mr. Ninja, or how did I refer to him later on? Oh, Unnecessary Backflip Man, says, I love you. And his wife, girlfriend, whatever, responds with, good.
Well, okay. Let's
And-
keep in mind,
and
they
the
did
other
not
thing
have
that
the
got me
script.
is-
These poor guys did not have the script that put together the actual dialogue.
You don't need a script to know that the response to I love you is I love you
I
too,
know.
unless you're Han Solo. He's the only one that gets a pass.
Or it could be, you better.
But I did feel real bad for his the pregnant murder victim, because the whole premise of this is, well, one of the many premises of this is that they are kidnapping these women, we assume to be put into some kind of trafficking situation. His wife sees one of these women being kidnapped, and rather than kidnap her too, they kill her. So there was some cutoff point that she didn't make. Like, she was just a 7.5, and they were like, nah, we don't want you. We're not going to traffic you. Stab, slice,
So
dead.
his response was to take down this entire ring, then. Okay, that makes more sense to me, because they kind of establish it's the one guy with the, I don't know, the fedora hat or whatever guy that did the actual killing. But you don't get that moment where the New York Ninja is like, now I'm one-on-one with the guy that actually killed my wife, and I'm going to, snuff you out. You didn't get that type of moment. But you do have to keep in mind, they didn't finish this movie. They might have wanted to shoot that. And
It was coming.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot going on in this movie for it to not actually be a completed movie.
Honestly, and I told all of you during our multiple crashes here, I enjoyed this movie a great deal. I did not grab my phone and start, looking through messages or checking Facebook. And I know that sounds like a low bar to beat is, hey, I didn't get completely distracted. You would be shocked how few movies are getting over that bar lately. This movie,
It's
from beginning
not-
to end, my mouth was just hanging open like, what just happened?
But I think when you have this new thing that we do where we sit at home and stream them, where we are distracted by every single thing, that is like the bar you're looking for, is a movie that you can watch at home on your couch without getting distracted. That's when you know it's a good movie.
And I did
When
not,
you
I
go to the
watched,
movies,
well,
you're-
we'll get to that. I'll talk about my Tubi experience later. But I thought everything kind of ran smoothly as far as that side, but we'll get to that later. But what I was endlessly entertained by was the costumes. I don't know
Oh my
who
goodness,
wants
yes.
to go on to that, but they must have had like 5 or 6 guys that they decided were going to be the stunt
Yeah.
guys. So to make that last, every single one of them's got some weird look, like the Village People, or there was a lot of hiding the face so that you could use the same stuntman over and over and over. At least I assume that's it. Otherwise, what a waste. And they had these fights, and there are a number of them that dressed up like sultans. There are people that dressed up like the rapists in Clockwork Orange. There were cowboys. What else did you guys see? Because
I'm pretty sure one of them had the mask from Alice, Sweet Alice on.
Okay.
Because he kept popping, and there was, I don't know if it was the same guy or if they were trying to make it look like different characters, but sometimes it would be like over his face, but sometimes he kind of be wearing it like cocked to the side, like it was a beret, like
yeah. Well, did you see the cop, the African American cop? Did you see that there's like he wears his baseball hat really weird
with the crease in it? That drove me insane. And I can only assume that at some point he has like taken off the case, and like when he was dressed in the like his overcoat and his suit and tie with his hair all like perfect, I'm assuming he was still a cop. And then I thought that maybe in the original script he was like, you're you know the typical 80s, you've gone too far this time, turn in your shield and badge. So when he's all casual from the rest of that with his oddly creased baseball cap, then I think he was just, and that's why he let him, well, don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, can we agree, though, these are like the worst undercover cops of all time? Because there's a couple undercover cops in this movie. And like to figure out that somebody's an undercover cop, I'm going to give this away to all the criminal element out there. All you need to do is check inside their collar, because they'll be wearing their badge right here. Right here. That's where undercover cops
It was like
live.
something out of one of those Dan Brown movies where it's like, no, I'm part of the secret society too. Dun dun dun.
Crazy.
The question that I have,
Okay.
and by far one of my favorite character was the guy who kept assaulting the little kid for no reason, because apparently this kid had money that owed him, and I want to know, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Like, where's this little kid getting money from? Is he running drugs for you? What the hell?
Milk money. It's milk money.
Yeah.
I want my $2.
I think that kid was running drugs. I think it wasn't until he met his friend, the New York Ninja, that scared him straight.
Yeah, that and their fishing expedition into the East River. Have fun with the mercury poisoning.
Now, did you notice how they made so much use of the I Heart NY bumper sticker campaign at the time? Because they would just write Ninja underneath it. Like, oh, look, they got merch for the Ninja.
And in my headcanon, this is happening at the same time as a certain other killer was parading through New York City, or at least Manhattan. And I wanted the two of them to meet so badly.
Who was the other one?
Oh, Jason. Because that I Heart New York thing featured in the promotional material for that movie too.
I didn't realize that was fun. I didn't realize that was the same time.
I'm looking up right now when the I Heart New York slogan was utilized, because I thought that was during Ed Koch's time.
That sounds about right.
It was introduced in 1977, so it was still going. It was going strong.
It was going strong in the 80s, because
it says
a couple of times that I visited New York in the 80s, and was wandering around in taking helicopters from one place to the other and trying not to get beaten up by ninjas on roller skates. Oh my God! How cool was it
the
that he
roller
was on
skates.
roller skates.
That was great.
Well, who wants to tell us
Fantastic.
about the roller skates? I think Tim, you should take that one.
The roller skate, yeah. The fact that he was riding around on roller skates was absolutely fantastic. But what I really got to talk about, even more than the roller skates, was the fight choreography.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the scene where he was using his foot to direct the attention of the assailant, and he's
Mhm.
kicking him. I lost it. Some of the fight choreography was just mwah.
Well, I think, this is where you can tell the director didn't really know what the hell he was doing, because all the fight scenes, they just have one camera covering the whole thing, and you're watching it like it's a stage play. So it's really ridiculous that you're sitting there and you're watching him fight, and there's the other guys, because he's always taking on at least 10 guys at a time.
One at a time.
And-
No,
yeah,
not
and
10 guys at
and
a
they're
time.
all-
Taking them on one at a time.
At what point do they all not just lynch him, though, rather than stringing
know-
him along?
What's even worse is they do swarm somebody at one point, and it's that stupid geeky cameraman. It's like, how
Yes.
come they can all pile on him to beat the crap out of him, but they can't do this to the one who's an actual threat? Him, they go off one at a time.
In
Or
certain
the
instances,
numerous times that someone could have, and I have this in giant letters a number of times throughout my notes, shoot him. Stop talking and pull the trigger.
And
Granted-
they establish a few of them have guns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
numerous times.
Yeah.
It's the same gun.
Right.
Like they pass it back and forth like the masks. And granted, it probably won't do anything because, spoiler, they do shoot him, and he manages to pull the bullet out completely bloodlessly. So I think he's some kind of he really had some super ninja
He's-
skills,
he's
which
half
he then passed
Wolverine.
on to the little kid who got, for my money, the biggest laugh in the movie
Okay.
is when that kid got shot in the butt. Maybe in the back. In my head, he got shot right in the ass, and I had to pause it because I was laughing too hard. Because I did not think that this movie would have the stones to actually shoot the kid. And I'm like, oh my God, this
Shot the kid.
this just went up 3 grades
Well,
in my opinion, because
they-
that was outstanding.
They established that the children are a bigger threat than the gang, because
And let me tell you, having grown up in the 80s, this was the truth. you don't mess with street kids in New York in the 80s.
I enjoyed it. They're having a interview with the mayor of New York, right?
Who has no security.
He has no security, is all alone in a playground, and they're talking to the mayor of New York, and there's nobody else there. It's just the kids playing in the playground. The mayor of New York literally can't walk anywhere around downtown New York, not only without security, but like 50 people just people. Hey, that's the mayor of New York. No, they're all alone. And the best part is the gang goes in on them, and they don't go, hey, we got the mayor of New York, let's abduct him. No, let's abduct the news reporter for the 44th time in the movie. And the
Randy Rydell.
yeah, played by Linnea Quigley, and then the kids somehow storm up. Well, like, what the hell's going on? And the kids don't get her back, if I remember correctly, but they do send them out. But
I absolutely loved the news people. They were the worst. Just the number of times that they almost got kidnapped, and no one gave a crap about Randy Rydell, Linnea Quigley's voiced character.
yeah,
The cameraman ditched. I'm sorry. I can't. I have his name in my notes somewhere, and I cannot remember the cameraman's name.
Is that the guy
But he
who oddly
ditches
looked
her.
like Ted Danson at moments?
Yes.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
New
Like
York
Walmart
Ninja
Ted Danson.
actually uses her as bait at one point so
Yeah.
they can kidnap her. And then he doesn't follow them back to the lair. He just lets them kidnap her. I'm like, she must be really hated. She stepped on a lot of people in the news crew.
Well,
But,
because
again, my
she's
other stupid
not
head
good
thing.
to animals. Look, she killed an animal and put it on her head. That's the wig that she's wearing throughout the movie. She's
That
obviously
wasn't really
an animal
big in that
cruelty.
movie.
Oh
I
my
do
God.
like how they started to establish the whole Clark Kent Superman thing, too.
Yes.
Where I didn't realize that he was a sound engineer. If I had looked that up on IMDb, I would not have realized that. But he's like, oh, excuse me, I have to go take a leak or something. And then he comes back as the New York Ninja. And and then after he kicks some butt, he
It's like,
leaves.
what I miss?
And the news reporter goes, where did he come from? And the cameraman says, where did he go? And I
And
had
then
to pause
Michael
this
House
because my
started
stupid head is going, the New York Ninjas, Cotton Eye Joe.
That's our whole household started singing Cotton Eye Joe from that. Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh,
There's so many great moments. Like, you said what your favorite laugh moment was. I'm torn. There's so many good ones. Like
yeah.
when a car is being destroyed with a baseball bat, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, they don't have a permit. They're just out there on some random
Yep.
New York street just destroying this vehicle. And they're tipping it over, and then the cameraman says, hey, that's my car. They've been watching it get dismantled for half an hour.
He's been filming it. As I have that in my notes too. Jack's such a dumbass, he doesn't know his own car. And it's the only car on the street.
It's so good.
It's like, so if they were walking back to his car, he had to kind of figure out that there's maybe a chance that this was his since there's nobody else there.
Well, and the roller skating. I mean, just the picture
The roller skating was awesome.
of a guy, and
have
it just
more
comes out of
questions.
nowhere. Yeah.
Only some?
I have more questions and I have favorite parts.
Okay.
But before I steal the show back, Timmy, what was your favorite part?
I was cracking up when he was, fighting everyone and he was like directing everyone with his foot and kicking people. I thought that was hilarious. That was just that probably had me cracking up the most. And the fact that he was running around on the roller skates. And I'm pretty sure there were a few times it looked like he did a couple jumps and the roller skates were gone. And I'm like, oh, he took them off. And then all of a sudden they'd be back on and he was sliding around again.
He invented Heelys.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty classic right there.
At one point, he puts his arms out like this, right? Like crucifix thing. And he grabs a guy on each side. It's almost like they're buddies, right? And then he kicks up and he kicks them both right in the face at the same time. I'm like, what type of idiot henchman walks up to this guy and allows him to put his arms around their back? Like they're buddies all of a sudden and part of some line dance. And then I was like, that is awesome. There are just so many parts like that in this movie.
All right, well, here are my questions. There will be a test. No. Anyway, do we even is there even a way to discuss the actual characters that I lost one.
Oh no.
The actual actors, there's no credits. Like, there's that crazy credit at the very end of the movie where it says, due to a lack of records, we're unable to individually credit the cast and crew. We hope this made them proud. I want to know who the people are. I want to know why they haven't come forward. I want to know why people aren't like, this is me. This is me. I want to know if the movie made them proud. Or was it that awful for them that they're in hiding forever?
Well, that's what it is. When they remade the movie, they found out this was happening, and everyone went into WITSEC.
Okay.
There's a reason it was lost.
Some of these actors, I swear I've seen other places. Like the Radiation Killer. I swear I have seen this guy because the look that he has right there, with kind of the straight hair, and I kind of picture him in a three-piece suit. And I think I've seen him somewhere.
Yeah.
I swear I've seen him in other places. Like the Radiation Killer. I swear I've seen this guy because the look that he has right there with kind of the straight hair, and I kind of picture him in a three-piece Suit or something where he played like security or something. I'm just like, I know I've seen him in some TV show. And
somebody needs to do facial recognition and find these people. I have
yes.
questions. I need inquiring minds want to know.
Well, I'll tell you the one. He's coming up in the slideshow here. The boss of the news people. And he's only in that one scene with the helicopter, I believe. That guy...
It was in one other one where it was the same kind of scene where he drove up, picked up Randy Rydell and left the cameraman behind and drove off with her. But yeah,
right.
I think his total screen time was like 2 minutes 30.
But if you look at him, and of course now the slide isn't coming up, but if you look at him, I am certain I've seen him in TV, movies. He's kind of one of those, that guy, kind of a character actor that you see fairly often. I'm like, he had to... They have to know who that guy is because they had this guy right here with the hat off.
Yeah.
That guy, he looks so familiar. In fact, I think he's probably played a police commissioner or something because that's the type that he is. That they couldn't even find his name or that a friend of his didn't come forward. A wife or of somebody that worked on it. This wasn't two people working on this movie. It's competently lit. There was a crew. There was at least 10 to 20 in the actual cast. There's people that were involved in this. And I believe I looked up Andrew, what's his name? Liu. What is his name? John Liu. I looked him up and he's still alive. And I'm like, did anybody think, hey, let's talk to 80-year-old John Liu and see if he remembers one damn thing or is he drooling on himself? I don't know. But I find it just shocking that nobody has stepped forward to get their name on an IMDb. Even like liars haven't put their names on this thing. Because who's going to question you?
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole for a while because the guy that plays Rat Tail, I think that's coming up in a minute, who is constantly taking his rat tail. Like, I know I've seen him in other things.
No, you haven't. You know what it is? He looks like Daniel Radcliffe with a rat tail. And
I could have sworn I've seen, and he's got 2 other IMDb credits. One is for a miniseries called Law of the Desert, and the other is for Beyond Justice. And his character name in Beyond Justice is listed as undetermined role. So they know he was there at some point. I don't know what he did.
I just have him in my notes as the Daniel Radcliffe looking chauffeur and his hunger for chewing his own rat tail. What was up with that? Why did he want to chew on that all the time?
He also, the world's worst sword fight of all time, like halfway through it, he starts doing drunken sword, which I don't think is a real thing. There's drunken
and
boxing.
It's definitely not something that you do with that kind of fencing rapier that he has.
Well, and when he was doing that, there were so many times I'm like, well, you could kill him now. You could kill him now.
I was doing the same thing.
You could kill him now.
When he's on his back with the sword under his butt, I'm like, dude, come on.
It was such a wide open and non-defensive thing. And I don't know, do we know? Did he die at the end? I don't know what happened to Rat Tail. It was like there's this big sword fight and then on to something else.
I think maybe he stabbed him, but not sure. I have a couple people like that. What happened to Jack the cameraman's Willie Ames looking ass?
Well,
because at one point the plutonium killer puts his face on and he burned up his picture. Is that to signify that he killed him?
I think.
Or did he just stop showing up?
When you burn somebody's picture, you take their soul into your body.
Oh. Is that why I've never been able to get rid of an X?
You don't understand radiation. That's how radiation works, just so you know.
And this is a serious question. The guy who is later talks to the cop and says he's from Interpol, but we have had him pull up next to the plutonium killer, like making a grocery list of which women he wanted abducted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the scenes where the two Cadillacs pulled up and you're expecting one of them to go, "Pardon me, have you any Grey Poupon?" What was he really?
I asked that same
No, he
thing.
said
yes.
Interpol, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Was
in
he
that case,
really, though?
how could he possibly actually be Interpol when he's the one that's saying, "Yes, kidnap all of these women and bring them to me"?
Yeah, I asked the same question. I don't know.
Well, it was not a good case. I think he was undercover. I don't know. I mean, let's face it, that he was Interpol probably had a lot to do with when they were trying to write the script to it. They're like, well, we got this scene with these two characters talking. They have to say something.
Well,
what can they say to
That
each
brings
other?
me up to another question that I had. If the original sound and script went poof and we don't have them, how did anyone know what to dub over? Like, did they hire a lip reader to figure this out? Or did they just test it?
It's bad
Let's-
lip reading people.
What?
I actually have an answer to that. I looked into it a little bit.
Or did they just say, F it, let's watch a silent movie and totally fan fiction the script?
Option 2. That's what they did. Because they had something like 25 hours of, I want to say video, but of this film. And I don't think they wanted to have a lip reader do all 25 hours of that. And I think to a certain extent, they're like, we're watching the quality of this film. The dialogue's the least of our worries here.
We don't know if he was actually happy about being his wife being pregnant. He could have been the one that said, kill that bitch. I don't want to be a daddy.
Well, think about this. This is the part that blows my mind. Here's what blows my mind. They had 20 hours. Let's say it's 20 hours. It might have been more, it might have been less, but I thought it was right around 20 hours of this film. That film's in no order whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that's not near the end of the film? How do you when you're watching this stuff, you not only don't have the words to go along with it, you don't know what order it should all come into. And a lot of these fight sequences look like each other. Thank God he was wearing roller skates during that one, because that made it a little bit unique, right?
Well, I have more questions, but we're running out of time.
Not completely, because we were late, and I'm willing
Yes,
to go.
but we have lots of other stuff to talk about, so
Yeah,
I'll let y'all do the thing
okay.
and talk more about the movie.
Oh God, we're going to. This is just a fantastic film. Oh, and I'm supposed to. Jeff asked me to tell everybody it's an hour 34 minutes.
No, he's wrong.
film.
What if you watched it on Fawesome?
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
haven't gotten to that part yet.
All right, who wants to start with the grading? We're wrapping this up. We're moving
we're going
on. We
into
got to talk
grading?
about the app. We got to talk about Horror Realm, and we got shameless plugs to do. So
Okay.
I'm cutting it off.
Okay, great.
Right. Timmy, what do you want to say?
What are our emojis again here? We got
I put them up
Let's
on
see.
the screen. We have
Come on.
like, love, haha, wow, sad,
I-
and angry.
I gotta go with the haha because I just got a kick. I found myself just dying through the whole movie, so I gotta go more with the haha.
All right.
My scary scribe, what do you think?
That if you had a haha with heart for eyes, I would be there. When
I
that
would
part that
agree.
flashed up that said he will return in the LA Ninja, I was actually kind of sad that he wasn't going to return in the LA Ninja.
I would agree with you about the emoji, but the Great and the Powerful won't let us have one.
Well,
like that.
I don't have it available.
We need to just have little
You
like
gotta pick
signs
one.
that we hold and go rogue and rate them our own way.
You got
Great and the Powerful, what do you say?
Well, wait. Are you haha or are you love? Mike.
Oh, haha. Haha won out over love.
Okay. I'm gonna go with love. I absolutely love this silly thing. I have no
But you
excuse.
just so it gets a haha.
I did, but I'm gonna give it a heart anyway. So there.
Really, you need the heart with the laughy face with the heart. Like we've been saying.
I think that would be great for this particular one, but we don't have it.
Rude. I would give it a laughy face. I thought it was great fun.
Well, that means overall, it's a laughy face.
The laughy face. Woo woo.
So I think now I will say I enjoyed this. I watched it alone, but I can't imagine how much fun this is watching it with a bunch of people.
I watched it with my daughter.
Oh yeah.
I watched it with my daughter, and she was laughing as hard as I was at a lot of the stuff that was going on.
Did you actually watch it?
Was
Or was
that?
she like on her phone? Was she on her phone, or did she actually?
Oh
watch it?
no, we. Well, at least the segment she watched with me, we weren't even sitting; we were standing, focused at the TV, watching the television. So, yeah, we were pretty much engrossed.
Did she kung fu at all during it?
She did kung fu a little bit. She did do a little bit of fooing.
I
There's a
knew
little
I like.
tonguing and a little fooing, you know.
What did you watch it on?
I watched it on the Fawesome. I watched it on the Fawesome app.
Did anyone else watch Fawesome?
I don't know what a Fawesome is.
I watched this 3 times, so I could rate
Oh
all the
my
different ones.
God.
But anyway,
I was instructed to watch it on Fawesome by yours truly.
And how did you like Fawesome?
Okay. Well, yeah. It would have taken me, it did take me probably 3 hours plus to watch that movie because the amount of commercials. Okay, there was the first commercial break, which, by the way, there's no rhyme or reason. Right in the middle of wife about to die, commercial cut, and it says 1 of 8, and then it plays 8 commercials.
But then did it
Couples.
play the same 8 commercials, like the
8.
same commercial 8 times for you though?
No, it was 8 different commercials. The dog intestinal medicine one was the best. I kept seeing that one a lot. But then a little bit later, it was right in the middle of something else happening, commercial cut, and it was like 1 of 7. And it did that until it went 1 of 6, then 6 of 7, then 5 of 5, 4 of 4. And when it got down to 4 of 4, I realized we were only 15 minutes into the movie.
Oh my God.
I said, this is going to be a long night, Adriana.
Now, I will say, in Fawsome's defense, it is the newly discovered app for me. There was one night I couldn't sleep, and I just decided to go on my Fire TV and download every single free streaming app they would allow me
Oh
to
my
have.
God.
There's tons of them out there. I'm just warning you all
Yeah.
now for next season because we're going to dive deep into the different free streaming apps. But so Fawsome's a new one for me. I do enjoy it for like my late night, can't sleep, I need mindless random searches. And I think I like it for that, for exactly what you said. An hour and a half movie can be three and a half hours. So if I'm dozing in and out of consciousness, I'm not going through 8 movies. I'm going through 1, and I don't miss that much when I doze off and fall it. So I do like
Well,
that.
That probably wouldn't be so bad. That would probably be better. But as far as watching it for a homework assignment, it actually hindered my enjoyance of the movie. You know, it actually made it difficult to watch. I wanted to switch TVs so many times and switch apps. And
Well, you feel like me that watches it on all the different ones. The one weird thing I will say about Fawesome though is that when you click on a movie, so like you are doing the random searches, you almost just have to find a movie blindly based on the cover like the little picture of it, because when you click on it, it goes just straight into the movie, and there's no going
No
back.
information. Yeah.
There's no
Wow.
synopsis, so you either have to know exactly what you're looking for, or like, oh, I want this genre. Just click, and you hope for the best. But it is a newfound app, so there you go.
Those are some pretty harsh realities, though. I watched on Tubi, as you knew I would. Here's something interesting. I also watched Transylvania 65000, which is almost exactly the same length movie. That movie was an hour 33 and 51 seconds. This one was an hour 34 and 15 seconds, a movie runtime. And different results by only 5 seconds in ad time. But Transylvania 65000 had 3 additional ads for some reason. But this one had 26 total ads. It was 12% of my time was watching the ads. All the ads were 30 seconds long, and there were 6 commercial breaks. That's all. So I got done watching the entire movie in about an hour
Timmy was halfway
50.
through it.
Yeah, Timmy was about a third of the way through, and I was done already. So, but I have to admit, the one problem with Tubi is it doesn't have surround sound, but the picture quality for something that was shot in 1984, I don't know if they 4K'd this or what, but the picture quality was ridiculously good. And I'm like, this was not Paramount Pictures going out there with, cameras the size of a truck. I'm sure a lot of these cameras they were using weren't much bigger than the stuff they were putting on, that the cameraman had in the movie. So
I find myself watching the scenery in the background quite often to see what was going on because it was unique. Yeah, because the picture quality was good. And it was old New York.
Yeah.
And like Michael said, you see the Twin Towers, and you're like, oh wow, like this was filmed way back when.
And
the other negative thing that I will say though about Tubi is the same thing that we said about Fawesome. The way they do their commercials, I will never recommend Tubi for a movie that I want someone to truly be like all in invested in because of the way they cut the commercials too. It's right there. It makes no sense. It's right in the middle of a scene. It'll be something really, really good and intense, and just halfway through it, and then you lose the oomph of it. But Tubi is my tried and true staple for the free streaming world. It is what I use 90% of the time that I'm watching anything for free on there. I just hate the way they do the commercials, but it is free. So there you go.
I also used Hamlet. So anyone?
You used
What did you use?
To be or not to be.
Oh,
anyway,
God.
but yeah, the picture quality, Tim, you are absolutely correct on that. And I did the same thing that you were talking about, where I was looking at stuff in the background, especially what a couple of scenes that I just have to assume were shot guerrilla style, where they're walking down 42nd Street, and I'm like, oh, what's playing at the movie theaters?
Or what's the graffiti? The amount of graffiti.
Oh
was
yeah,
obscene. And I remember pausing it at one point because they found a hooker in the shopping cart. Remember, that's the one that they just walked
the one
away
that looked
from
like she was
at the
being,
end of the scene.
Grilled.
They're like, here's a crime scene. Let's all walk away from it.
Yeah.
But
but only after they lifted her up and moved her down a step.
Right. I mean, but the picture quality was awesome. Was it good on Fawesome at least, even though there were 10,000 ads?
Yeah, I thought the picture quality was great. Yeah,
they must have had one hell of a print. That's probably why they went to restore it. They're like, this is great. It looks perfect, and you really do get to see New York at that time in this movie.
Yeah, it did have a lot of great shots of New York. I will say though, if you watch it on Pluto, you would miss all of those great shots
Oh.
because the movie crashed 3 different times on me when I tried to watch it. You know? And then when I finally got it up, that's what she said. When I got it going, I had the subtitles on, but the subtitles crashed. So, like 10 minutes in, after watching it 3 times crashing, it got stuck on the same subtitle. And so then I got frustrated, so I had to completely turn it off. I gave up, and I went on the Tubi. So Pluto is the lowest one on my list out of all of these because it made it very, very difficult to watch.
You know, what I don't like with Pluto is when you click on it, it automatically starts up, and it's like a small window, and you got to expand it and all this stuff. Now, I usually look at that on the computer. I don't know on Roku, but
no, I never had that happen. But I watch it on like I said, the Fire TV, and it goes normal size for me.
Okay, so that's probably something with my computer browser. Okay, so are we going to Horror Realm now?
Yes, let's do the Horror Realm wrap up.
Okay.
I don't know how we do this. Just start throwing shit out.
Yeah, you'll start seeing stuff pop up on the screen. I'm almost positive things will be happening here. Okay, yeah, I've got the
I have like
going.
a top 10 of my favorites, but everyone else can go first if they would like. As far as the celebs, like we're talking the guests here. So yeah, I don't know. Did we lose anything?
No, we're good. We're good. Well,
Okay.
Suzy,
You said you had a top 10 list of what?
Oh yeah, but I was letting you guys go. I didn't want to steal your sunshine. But I can babble too. So.
By all means.
Oh, there's Robert Ressler. He was definitely one of my favorites. The fact that I got to actually present him his award, and he was so gracious and so sweet about it. I will be smitten forever over that man. But he was my second favorite. But honestly, Michael Berryman, who is the reason we did this movie, he was my favorite from the whole weekend. He was pretty awesome. He was the first one I met when I walked in to the hotel. He was just sitting there in the lounge, just sitting there. And I was like, oh, hi. He forgot his phone in the car when he got dropped off. So we sat there and hung out for 45 minutes while he waited for his phone. Oh, wow. And I think he told me like every crazy story he could possibly think of. It was great.
Well, he's got a lot of them. He's got a lot of stories. And there I have a picture of you two.
Aw, yay. I like that. Yeah, he was great. He's tall.
Wait till you see what I'll do with this picture after a while. So
what?
Nothing.
Flush.
Nothing.
All right, so there's Emmett. He was number 9. He was great. I might actually have to start watching wrestling because of him, because he was so into it. He was having just as much of a blast as I think any attendee was.
Oh, he was sneaking off and getting things signed. I was watching him. I know your hubby was watching him. I was like, he is a fan. I'm surprised he was at his table as much as he always was, because you could see he was fanboying out. He
absolutely was. Yeah. And obviously Beverly Randolph, she was amazing. She was the cutest little thing ever. It was snowing. She'd never seen snow before, so she ran off of her table and just took Miguel Nunez, and they went to go play in the snow. It was adorable.
Yes.
So that was really, really.
They were just going crazy with that. Yep.
The girls, the ladies from
Evil Dead.
Were a class act. They were very sweet. I wasn't sure how they were going to be, but they were very sweet. They were very classy. The Thanksgiving people, they were awesome.
They were my biggest surprise, because I didn't know anything about them, and both of them were just down to earth. I think a lot of that is they're Canadians. They were very nice people. But very down to earth. Played along. It messed with Jeff as I requested, so I was totally in with them. Yeah, when you see the panels, when I finally get those put out on the screen, you're going to see that Karen messes with them more than once.
Yeah, you're retired now. What are you doing all day that you don't have that done?
I was resting.
Oh, okay.
The panels were by far my favorite part of the weekend.
The
I really
panels.
enjoyed. I really enjoyed watching the panels. Yes, they were really. There was a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of great conversation for sure.
Allison Court was really fun, but the one that surprised me the most that I have to say was Elliot Fulham. Or what is that his last name? Fulham.
yes,
Yeah,
Fulham.
from Terrifier. I am not that much of a Terrifier fan, so I really didn't care about any of them. Didn't think I was gonna get all, but that kid is adorable. He's crazy talented. He's so sweet. He's so amazing, and he's not just an actor. He actually has 3 albums out. So he actually signed one of his vinyls for me, and I'm obsessed with vinyl. So I was really, really, really excited about this. Everybody should go check out his music. I do think that.
I think he's already doing some voiceover work. If you listen to his voice, he is going to be busy for years because he just has one of those voices that you go, that's the guy I want to play, the nerd. That's the guy I want to play the naive kid. He's just got that on lockdown. I think he's got a huge career ahead of him.
The only other two that I'll mention before I'll stop yammering and let you guys have some of the spotlight was definitely Tom Morga, though. He's one of the only, if not, someone tell me, is he the only one that can really say that he's played Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Leatherface, like all the major? Has anyone else ever played 3 of the major killer people?
I want to say there was one other, but I don't know. I think he is all.
He was great. Yeah. He was really cool, down to earth, hilarious. But the best part about him was if you got a professional photo op with him, he was so much fun during it. Like I went and he's like, all right, I'm ordering you now. I'm grabbing those pigtails of yours, and I'm just doing this, and this is what I mean. He did the best photos with any of them that you see that he did. He's having so much fun just throwing people around for it. So that was great. That was fun. I love when people do that.
I actually appreciate one of the things I really liked is this year when you had the photo ops, you could go onto their site and see everybody's photos, which I really liked because I loved the pictures that you had, Suzy. I thought those were really fun. It was great to see somebody slicing Michael Exler's throat. That's always a good thing to have around the house, So I really liked that aspect, and in the past they sent you an email with it. This was so much better, in my opinion. It was just great, and it was interesting. The killer clowns, they weren't able to get their costumes in time. There was some sort of kerfuffle,
but they made
their photo ops were great. I was like, man, I think they might be better than if they were in the costumes because you actually see the guys. And
that brings me to the top part. What I think stole the whole weekend were the Killer Clowns the cast of the Killer Clowns. Now, the best part of all of it was that Grant Kramer did karaoke the entire night wearing one of my tiaras. But even without that, the entire cast of Killer Clowns, I feel like they stole the whole weekend. They were amazing. They were the highlight.
Did they hit you as almost like they might be part of a gang? Did you get that?
I could totally.
Because those three guys. Every time you saw one of them, you saw the other one. Now Suzanne, she was always hanging out by Rustler. Every time I turned around, she's sneaking off by Rustler. I'm just saying. But Grant, Mike, and Herod, they were like, and. I don't know, but it always seemed like Mike was on Grant's right, and on the left was always Herod. It was like, it was almost like they were in formation all the time. The other thing I really liked was Rustler both days. He was down there talking to everybody at the after parties. And really listening to them. And why do you like horror films and that sort of thing? I suspect it's because he is working on his own horror film right now. But he was really taking time to get to know the fandom there, which was really cool.
I have to give a nod to Tiffany Shepis. She was absolutely her energy the entire weekend was phenomenal. Even when she walked in for the panel and she was the first one there and she started engaging with the crowd, I just thought she was a lot of fun and real high energy. She was definitely a surprise. I did not expect her to be so outgoing.
And she's a great human, and she loves to come to Horror Room, and she is that way every single time. I've never seen her at a Horror Room weekend where she didn't act like that, which is how you know she's really that like that.
Yeah, she was awesome, definitely.
I will tell you, as trying to moderate that particular panel, I was not in control at all. There was at no point was I in control. She took it.
That panel was great, though.
She would nudge me and say, "Hey, ask him about their current." And I said, "It's right here, Tiffany. I was going to ask the question. Stop it." She was really just so. Here's what you do next. Here's what you do next. But I remember I was still trying to get some of those four back to the room because Barbara Crampton's line was crazy all weekend long. And I come back, and Tiffany is doing like a stand-up routine in the side aisle. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is so crazy. I'm just walking into bedlam, you know. But I think both the Terrifier, the Killer Clowns, and the Women in Horror, they had more people than we had seats in those rooms. It was jam-packed. And even on our Friday night panels, they were all very well attended, including one that I can't believe people came to.
The best one of the whole weekend, baby.
Robert Russler.
That actually was my favorite panel, was Robert Russler, and then we came in. Cleared it out.
Hey, we had at least 10 people in ours. Thank you very much.
We had, honestly, we had more than I expected. I didn't expect to see that many people. Some of you guys were having way too much fun. We had a plan, and that got thrown out the door, 5 minutes
We had a
in?
plan?
We did. You were even at that meeting. There was a plan, and that did not get executed.
That's what made it so great. We were raw and in the moment and loving it.
That was.
You're the only one that because you're no fun.
Correct. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. Old fuddy-duddy. But it actually was a lot of fun, and we had a special announcement that I think Suzy wants to reiterate here on the show.
Do I? Am I ready to talk about that? I really don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you see? I don't know if you guys can see or if it's cut off. I have 2 little candlesticks hanging on my wall. They're squirrels.
Yeah, the picture quality coming through is not quite up to snuff right now. It's
well, that's because of the weather. Yeah. But so I do want to give a shout out though to one of the vendors, Wood Burning by Donovan, because we do have a new show coming up. When does our next season start? Is it September?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Oh, good to know. I better put that on my calendar. But Wood Burning by Donovan, one of the vendors who's there every year, he does amazing work. Obviously, he burns little things in the wood. Yay! But he made both Jazzy Jeff and myself some squirrels because we're going to have a new show and talk about it being a train wreck. It's going to be a sparkly little fun-filled. I don't know what I'm saying.
What it's going to be is the probable cause of death.
We're just going to squirrel in 10,000 directions and see what happens.
It's gonna be
I don't know what else I'm going to say about
MacIntyre
it.
Miller Mondays, but we're probably going to do it on Thursday. We really don't know what it is, but it's happening, and we can't stop it, apparently.
And I don't know what I'm supposed to say or not say about it yet, but there's more to
because
come.
we don't know what we're doing with it yet. So
we totally know what we're doing with
No,
it. At
you
least
do
I know
not.
what I'm doing with it. I just don't know if you guys are following with me or not. So
oh my God,
we're just gonna squirrel and see what happens. Squirrel.
it's going to be
cool.
insane.
It's gonna be the most fun. Talk about Robert Russler, the most fun. That's a line from one of his movies. You guys should all watch the movie Shag. It's not available for free streaming though, so maybe one day it will be and we can watch it. But that's besides the point.
You know
See,
where you
look,
can
I just
find it,
swirled.
by the
That's
way?
the whole point of the show.
You know where you can find it?
Where?
Almost any library in the world. It is unreal that DVD is everywhere.
Yeah, I have a copy of that DVD, but it will remain sealed forever. I will not allow anyone to open it.
All right.
I have it on VHS too, but I don't have any way to play that one.
Do you want to go into the promos at this point?
Is that my shameless plugs? Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'll do the first one here. We have next week on Dead On Thursdays, we're going to have Dead On movie reviews. Have no idea what movies are going to be reviewed, but there will be 4 of them. So that is going to happen. Also, want to thank, I believe it's Lysax13 just followed us. Thank you very much. And we want to thank Keeper of Backs for their first ever chat. So welcome to both of those new users. Oh,
Yay!
Donovan, I'm being told. All right, and then we're going to throw things to Mr. Cieslak.
I got nothing going on.
That is such a lie.
I mean,
you're
we're
going to some
doing
convention.
a lot of behind the scenes production work on the next couple of books, but I do not have any upcoming events for a couple of months now. I've got a little downtime, so we're just trying to get caught up on all the editing, and we will let you know when we have release dates for things.
All right. And we are now going to Tim. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over there at Darkside.
Darkside Collectibles. We're a horror, sci-fi, fantasy collectibles store in Plumboro on Route 286. We're open every day but Tuesday. Stop on in. We at the current moment we are also promoting all of the shows here with Otherworldly Culture. So if you come in, there are limited amounts of bags, but we do have promo bags that we are giving away with purchases. We give a promo bag for Otherworldly Cultures, and a select few can also get a Dead On Bases T-shirt.
And free popcorn.
Yes, and free popcorn. We have free popcorn all the time. Make it every day. So yeah, it's business has been going great. Meeting a lot of interesting people. My favorite part about it all is just the people that you meet every day that you wouldn't expect to be in the horror community, and just but whenever they come in, you're like that person's definitely not coming here, and they walk in and you find out that they've been a cosplayer for 30 years. So
Wow.
It's been real exciting meeting all the people, and it's been a great time. So we encourage everybody to stop on in.
Fantastic. All right, over to you, Suzy.
That's pretty much all I got, other than I do want to thank Pretty Ginger Crafts they make these little tumblers, and they captured my love of unicorns and slashers all in the same thing. So I do encourage everybody to check them out. They're a vendor at a lot of different conventions around here, but it makes me happy to have sparkles and unicorns and Jason and Freddy and everything else, because unicorns can kill you just like slashers can. But anyway.
But one thing I forgot, Suzy,
Yes.
is,
What is it?
that right now your screen's a little bit blurry, but that there's another lovely, beautiful picture behind you that was actually from one of our amazing vendors at Horror Realm, Edward's Dark Art Emporium. And he is also, his frame prints are also now available at Darkside Collectibles. So if you missed him at Horror Realm, stop on in and you can see some of his work at our store.
I like it.
So
All right. Anyone else?
basically, 3 days a year you go to Horror Realm. The rest of the year you go over to Darkside Collectibles. Is that correct?
That's what
That's
I'm talking
all right, yes.
To get your popcorn going.
Get your
All
popcorn.
right. my fine men of my court of critics. If no one else has anything, I guess we'll call it a night. And for the rest of you that are still enduring us, please remember to like us, rate us, follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't think we have anything else. You can reach out to us via email. You can shoot us a DM, whatever you're into. I don't care. But until next time, don't let the haters dim your sparkle. Reach for your remote and keep streaming. Or screaming, whichever you want to do. I don't care. But have a good night. We're out.
Good night.